Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Cara. Whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for another fragrance review today. We are doing a little battle between, well, it's like a review, it's not really a battle. We're going to do some Black Opium comparisons. So I have the new Over Red, Cherry. We have Illicit Green, Fig, and Le Parfum, lots of vanilla. I want to talk to you about the fragrances, about the differences and similarities between all three, and then let you know how I feel about each one. If that sounds good to you, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think. And if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy but you want to smell good too, definitely consider joining the community. I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So how are you? I'm doing fantastic on this unexpected day off from work due to wind. I'm not complaining. Let me know how you're feeling in the comment section or the chat, whichever you prefer, and let's go ahead and get this show on the road. So Black Opium, I feel like it's an OG perfume. It's something I've always seen and heard of, but I've never really been curious to try it, at least not the original one. The one that made me look at the perfume twice was Le Parfum, which we'll get into in a second. So I don't have the original to compare these three to, but that's okay, because I do have some information about it in my fragrance book, my handy dandy fragrance book that is getting a lot of use so far in 2024. The OG came out in 2014, and I'm just going to talk about the notes and pop them up quickly so that we can see how these variations are the same and different from the OG. We have top notes of pear, pink pepper, and orange blossom, middle notes of coffee, jasmine, bitter almond, and licorice. And we have base notes of vanilla, patchouli, cashmere wood, and cedar. It looks like the original, as well as all of the variations of Black Opium by YSL, I didn't say that, do contain notes of coffee, vanilla, and patchouli. Again, I have not tried this one yet. The notes really didn't call to me, but that's okay because I have these three here to talk about. Let's fast forward to 2022. We're going to talk about Illicit Green. I'm not sure at what point of the year this came out in 2022, but I'm thinking it came out in time for spring, summer, because that's the vibe I get from this fragrance. I did purchase this one from Ulta on sale, and it was $57 on sale, and then I also had a 20% off. So this was a really affordable price for 30 mLs. If you look at the packaging, I think what really stands out about this is that bright green in the center. We do have some texture here on the outer bottle, like kind of glittery. And I think that the original Black Opium has the same type of texture. Now this one is described as a floral fruity fragrance for women. We have top notes of pear, fig leaf, and green mandarin. Middle notes of fig, orange blossom, and jasmine. And base notes are bourbon, vanilla, coffee, and patchouli. I'm gonna go ahead and just give this a little spray here. Now, in my notes, I wrote that I love the opening more than the dry down of this. You can smell the pear. It's very bright. There is this fruity accord, which I'm thinking is coming from the green mandarin and the orange blossom. There is a smell of that fig note. I'm still trying to identify the fig note. So, of course, I'm trying to think, how does this smell compared to father figure? But it does have that same fig note in there. So I definitely smell that a lot with the opening, and then as the perfume starts to settle down. As the fragrance dries down, I don't feel like it evolves too much past the opening, although I do like the opening better. I don't really pick up on the mandarin, but there is definitely that fruity accord. It's more like a vanilla pear blossom. I do not get patchouli from this, which is a plus for me. I can take a little bit of patchouli, but it's not something that I really want to smell in a fragrance. I don't want to smell it. If I do, it has to be very, very faint. This fragrance has some longevity to it compared to when I was testing out Over Red on my other arm. Definitely 6+ hours. It's stronger than the new Over Red fragrance. I did let my students smell this. I actually did a wear test between the Illicit Green on one arm and Over Red on the other. They really couldn't smell Over Red like that, but they could smell Illicit Green and they really liked it. And I even had some staff members that really liked the smell. And again, I could smell it at the end of my workday. So I usually spray my perfume around, I would say 7 o'clock. And I don't spray it again when I'm trying to do a wear test. I could definitely smell it on my clothes and my skin when I got home from work, which is, you know, 6+ hours afterwards. As far as the strength of this one, I think this one's pretty strong. I think that if I'm walking past someone and I have this on, they are definitely going to smell the trail of that scent. They're gonna smell me as I'm walking by. Overall thoughts on this one. I have to say that despite the fig note being in here, and I'm obsessed with finding perfumes with fig notes, which is why I purchased this one, this would not be a favorite. I have other fruity floral smells that I enjoy better than this, so I will get to that in a second. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it. I would say you could use this one in the day or the evening. I'm thinking about maybe just saving it and using it again in the summertime, because I just don't think I'm in the mood for this fragrance at this time because it is January. It definitely has the vanilla DNA of Black Opium, but the pear note and the fruity notes are a lot stronger than the original. Definitely stronger than the Le Parfum, because the Le Parfum has a lot more vanillas in there, and the fruitiness is stronger than in Over Red. There are fruity floral fragrances that I like more than this one. Carolina Herrera, Very Good Girl Glam, the Good Girl Blush, all of those. Kayali, Sparkling Lychee. I like those more than I like this one. But I do think the fragrances that I just mentioned would be great to layer with the Black Opium Illicit Green. I would say out of the 3 Black Opium variations that I've tried, this one is the most different. The other 2, they kind of connect to each other. They have a relation with each other, but this one is completely different. I would not recognize this as a Black Opium scent. Overall, I think this is something that you would have to smell. I don't think it's a safe blind buy, and I don't think everyone's gonna like it because I like fruity florals, but I will put this honestly at the bottom of my list, and maybe I'll come back and revisit it in the warmer months when I'm in the mood for it. Yeah, so no. And I don't want to layer this with another fig scent like my Father Figure, because Father Figure is beautiful just the way it is. So no. That's my take on Black Opium Illicit Green. So let's talk about Le Parfum. This one is the most intense and long-lasting of the Black Opium variations, and I do agree with that because out of all 3, this one lasted the longest. The captivating scent radiates an unexpected rush of precious vanilla complemented by iconic coffee notes and a central bouquet of white flowers. So let's go ahead and get into the notes. We have green mandarin super essence, sustainably sourced from Italy. We have pear and cinnamon, all in the top notes. For the middle notes, we have white florals, which are solar jasmine sambac and orange blossom. Now, the base notes is where we are really getting into what I like about this one. We have coffee, espresso coffee accord. We have Indonesian patchouli, which you are not going to smell, which is great for me. We have vanilla planifolia absolute from Madagascar, vanilla pod absolute from Madagascar. We have premium vanilla bourbon infusion from Madagascar and vanilla Tahitensis. Okay, that wasn't what I was going to say. I was thinking like Tahiti. Tahitensis SFE Absolute. Basically what I'm trying to tell y'all, when they say quartet, that's what they mean. There are 4 different vanillas in this fragrance. They are all different, and that is what I love about Le Parfum. When you spray this, okay, let's just do it now. The opening is very vanilla and coffee, which can also be smelled in the dry down This vanilla reminds me, or one of the vanillas, because I can't say it's all of them. It reminds me of the vanilla that's in Burberry Goddess, which is, it has to be one of my favorite perfumes. And to me, Burberry Goddess doesn't smell like vanilla, but what that lets me know is it's the type of vanilla, because they all smell different. You smell that Burberry Goddess vanilla along with the coffee. Let me look at the top notes again, because let's see, there is something sweet in here, and I would say that that sweetness is the pear. I'm not really getting a bunch of cinnamon or anything like that. And the florals are there, but to me, they're not really strong. I think that the Vanilla Quartet completely overpowers this fragrance. So you have this vanilla coffee scent, but the vanilla that's in here, as well as the one that's in Burberry Goddess, to me, are not those wintry vanillas. I think that you could wear this one in the spring too. I think it would be really nice. And I also think, even though I'm getting further ahead of myself, this would be great to layer with an all citrus scent like Tangerine Boy from Floor, one of those, just to give you that creamsicle type vibe. You could probably layer this with many things. What you smell in the opening, I get in the dry down as well. This one is not super heavy, but it is strong. So I like that. It's like strong and light. I could smell it on my clothes all day. When I sprayed it at night, I could smell it in the morning, and it was very, very pleasant. This one is the strongest of the three. Overall thoughts, I love it. That's it. I don't have a whole long to do about it. I love this one. I will eventually get this one in a full size. It is definitely better than the Tom Ford Vanilla Sex. I don't want to get into that. I will put this right on par with Burberry Goddess, and I think that these would layer beautifully together. I do think you could layer this with almost anything, as I said, and I think it would be great to layer these with a cherry scent, like a lost cherry, something like that. That would be really beautiful. I think it also goes well with Over Red. I think you could probably mix this with any of them. Almost how I feel about the KLE Vanilla 28. Like, that's a vanilla you could put with anything, because all vanillas are not created equal. So recommendation, yes, this one is great, and it's not something, again, that is seasonal for me. I think I could go for this during all 4 seasons. This one is definitely a yes. I think it would also go really well with my fruity florals like the Sparkling Lychee, with my Carolina Herrera's. Yeah, I'm looking at my little perfumes here. I think it could go with almost anything that I have in my collection. So I'm really happy about that. Probably should have just gotten a travel, if I could have, of Illicit Green. They didn't have that available. And then got a larger size in Le Parfum. I knew I was gonna like that, but you know what? I learned from Tom Ford that just because a perfume has all of the notes that you like does not mean you're gonna like the perfume. I learned that the hard way and the expensive way. So let's move on. So let's go to the newest release, which is the Black Opium Over Red. Now, all of these are Eau de Parfums, so I believe those are the strongest of the formulations. This is a 2024 release that comes in 30, 50, and 90 mLs. Once again, I purchased this one from Sephora during the 20% off sale. I think the price was $89. So Black Opium Over Red is a floral fruity gourmand for men and women. The fragrance unites Black Opium's classic signature with a new contrast for additional excitement. Let's talk about the notes. We have top notes of cherry and green mandarin. And then in the heart, we have something called Moroccan Aurica Jasmine, Orange Blossom Absolute, and Black Tea. In the base, we have coffee, Indonesian patchouli, Madagascar vanilla. All right, so I had to look up the black tea and ask myself, what does that smell like? Can I pick that out? Black tea can smell smoky, balsamic. It can smell like leather or honeyed wood or spice. I have to say before I spray it, this bottle is the most intriguing and beautiful of what I have. The travel size is just the regular, Black Opium. When you spray this, the cherry is very, very prominent in the opening. Even when I just sniff the bottle, you can smell that cherry there. It's not sour. It's not giving me the same cherry feel as the Lost Cherry by Tom Ford, but I love the cherry that's in here. It's very sweet. Let me see what else I smell. I can't remember. So in the opening, you can also smell the vanilla. So it's this beautiful cherry vanilla scent. I'm not really picking up on the mandarin in these fragrances, and maybe I'm just not knowing what it smells like because I'm just thinking orange. As this starts to dry down, I don't really even pick up on the jasmine, which I'm glad about because I think jasmine, from what I'm seeing, it either smells good or bad on people, and I think I'm leaning to bad. I'm thinking that jasmine is not my scent. But as this one dries down, the vanilla really pushes to the front and the cherry moves to the back. You can still smell a hint of it, but the cherry goes away more than what I would enjoy because I love a cherry note. I think cherry, vanilla, and fig, those are like my favorite notes out of everything. So if the cherry was like equal, I think that would have made this one perfect. I will say that the Over Red is closer to the Le Parfum. The Illicit Green is on a whole nother planet. It's just a whole different, it's like on a parallel. Whereas the Le Parfum and the Over Red, they really do intersect. This one has a pretty good strength, but not as good as the Le Parfum. This one really fades on the close, but again, I could smell this at the end of the day. When I had my students smell it, they really couldn't smell what was on this arm, but they could really smell the Illicit Green that was on my other arm. It is stronger than a skin scent when it dries down, and it smells really good. Overall thoughts on this one, as I was just saying, I would love for the cherry to be stronger, but I really do enjoy this one. It is cherry vanilla with a hint of coffee. I really would love to be able to eventually be able to pick out the black tea note because I can't right now, but I'm sure it is there. As far as the season, I would say again, this could be fall, winter, and maybe even spring. I don't know if the coffee note, when I think of coffee, coffee makes me think of something you would wear in the colder months, but I have some like truly coffee scents, and I don't know if I'm a fan of those, but they are definitely winter. Where these, I think you can wear them by themselves outside of the winter time, the colder months, and possibly in the spring. Maybe that's why this one was released when it was, that cherry kind of puts it with a fruity and more spring kind of a vibe. I would say this is more on the like cherry blossomy end. I'm thinking of, and I have to go back and smell it, Cherry Garden from House of Sillage. I had a sample of that. For some reason, I'm thinking that cherry in the House of Sillage Cherry Garden is a similar cherry to what's in the Black Opium Over Red. I do have some cherries that I really, really love more than this one. Cherry Punk. Ooh, by Room 1015. That's probably one of my favorites. That one smells like cherry smoke from Tom Ford and lasts way longer. I love Lost Cherry. I'm out of Lost Cherry, and Lost Cherry from Tom Ford doesn't last on me, but I do have Ambery Cherry from Dossier, which is a dupe, which has nice lasting power, and the cherry is very, very prominent. Burning Cherry, that is by KLE. That's another beautiful cherry scent. And then Devious. Devious is by a niche house called Contradictions of Ilk, and I have a travel size of that, and they have these scent duos, so Devious and Sincere go together. But if you wear Devious by itself, Devious is a cherry scent that is kind of close to like the Burning Cherry from KLE. So layering combinations, I would say you could layer this with any cherry or vanilla. I would definitely layer this with the Le Parfum. I would layer it with, ooh, Dulce by Rosie Jane would be nice. Vanilla Skin by Fleur, that body spray. I would even do Vanilla 28 from KLE. I think you could do this with coffee scents as well. Maybe even chocolate. Like if you want to smell something kind of like a chocolate covered cherry situation, I think you could do something like that. Like the chocolate greedy maybe. Ooh, I wonder how this would go. I have the Fighter scent here from Fantasy Cosmetica. If you don't know about Fantasy Cosmetica scents, y'all, get into it. I think the chocolate's gonna overpower that. but something where the chocolate and the cherry could both shine with that vanilla and the coffee. I think that would make a beautiful scent. Maybe put Fighter on first and then Over Red. That's the ticket. That's it. Because Fighter is strong. You put Fighter on first, smell like hot chocolate, and then put the Over Red on top or the Le Parfum. That's a winning combination. And that's going to be perfect for this time of year. So really excited to see what I can do with this one. Overall, this perfume is a yes. I really like it. I would recommend it, especially if you like the Le Parfum. I can't say anything about the OG because the notes just seem a little bit different. But if you like the Le Parfum, just imagine that with a hint of cherry, and then you have Over Red. So if you have Le Parfum, you honestly don't need this. I would say if you have a cherry scent and you like to layer perfumes, which a lot of us do, then just do that. And you may have a stronger cherry with that vanilla than what you're getting in here. But if you were curious about trying this out, I would for sure recommend it. It just has all the notes that I really like. This combo right here though, I'll link my Fantasy Cosmetica perfume review in the cards, because if you get more of the mainstream perfumes, then you are probably like, what is Fantasy Cosmetica? And Fantasy Cosmetica is an indie makeup brand that started with eyeshadow palettes, but they started to incorporate a fragrance to go with each of their palettes and their releases. So you get this multi-sensory experience. You know, you got the smell and you have the visual. So these are great hand-painted bottles. I know that's not what we're talking about, but, and the price point is the best thing, because this 30 ml was like $32, something like that. Whereas we're paying, you know, $89.90 plus for 30 mLs. Overall, if I had to rank these, probably would go ahead and rank the Le Parfum as #1. The Vanilla Quartet is just everything. And I can layer so many things with it. So I can do vanilla cherry. I could do vanilla tangerine. I could do vanilla lemon or citrus or whatever. So that's going to be the most versatile. And I think you can wear it all the time. #2 has to be the Over Red because of that cherry scent. I just wish it was a little stronger, but most likely I'm going to be layering the two together because I really like this one. I just want it to be just a little stronger with that cherry. #3 is going to be the Illicit Green. Again, it doesn't smell bad, but it's not my smell. I know this one's not me. It's not going to be like my signature. There's certain things I smell and I'm like, that's a Cara smell. That's a good slime. But this one is not it. I really feel like my mom would really like this. But the opening of this one, I don't know. I love the opening of this one. And it's so crazy because I could smell something like one week and then the next week I'll be like, oh no, I really like this. I gotta hold on to this one. Let's just put it with Father Figure. You could layer this with Father Figure, but okay, I can't. That's gonna be it, y'all, for this perfume review. I hope that I included all of the things that you want to know. I'm always looking for feedback on my fragrance reviews because I'm taking them very seriously. I have a whole book here. And oh my God, I was so into my Tom Ford Vanilla Sex one because I had so much to say that I didn't show the bottle. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe, like, I'm always so used to showing packaging for makeup. Like I just was talking and running my mouth so much. So I just totally forgot to show that bottle. But let me know your thoughts on these. Let me know which ones you've tried. Also, let me know what you think about the original Black Opium. I'm going to smell that next time I go to a store. I know that one's super common to get your hands on. So I do want to smell that and write some notes in here so I can compare it to all of the little variants. But right now, I would say it's 3 for 3. I'm not even mad about the Illicit Green. So I'm loving Black Opium, and we'll see what other variations they continue to do as the year goes on. Thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for another fragrance review. I hope this was therapy for you. It always is for me. And until I see you again, make sure you're being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice. Stay safe. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.